Hi, this is Rebecca Kokendorfer. Welcome to Atomic Mindfulness. One of my favorite atomic mindfulness techniques is what I call the power of small. We have been trained by our culture, this whole idea of go big or go home. And that when we have a goal or a dream, we have to go all out. Or even, the minimum version of that is 1 hour a day. But this method doesn't work for most people. This go big or go home style of achieving our goals and of living has a very high burnout rate. It has a really high failure rate. It has a really high stress rate. So I like the power of small. So what the power of small is that you identify a path that you would like to walk on, an experience you would like to have. You try it out. This might be what you think your mission or your purpose is, or your goal is, or your dream is. And then you just do some little gentle touches on the path. Now, I like to do the daily touch if I can. So I'm learning foreign languages, so I do just 10 or 15 minutes a day, a little micro touch. Or on the dissertation, I just touch it. And with this power of small, it doesn't have to have a certain amount of time. You're establishing the habit, for one thing. You're learning by doing. You're on a spiritual journey as you do it, because some days you don't want to look for that job. You don't want to write that book. You don't want to train for the Camino or whatever it is, that this thing that it feels big and you're breaking it down into something small. Just touch it. Just do a tiny bit. And this is a mindfulness journey because you are going to be growing from the experience. You change during the experience. And if you use the go big or go home methodology, you don't get a chance to grow from it. You start, dear diary, I'm going to write in you every day. Dear journal, I'm going to journal, 7 hours a day, and then you can do it for 2 or 3 days and the next day, nothing. Well, there's not a lot of growth that comes from that. Either physical results or spiritual transformation. There's not a lot of benefits for that. So I am a really big fan of the power of small. I've written 5 books. I built 2 businesses. I'm getting my PhD, and I use the power of small for it. Because now for some people, maybe that go big or go home or that weekend warrior will work. But for most people, it doesn't. It just makes you afraid, or you get tired, or you get bored. So if you have a dream in your heart, or an idea you want to test out, or something big you want to do, try this mindfulness technique. Just touch it a little bit each day. And the game is you have to touch it. Doesn't have to be for a certain amount of time, but you have to do something. So even if you only write 3 words, even if you only read 2 sentences, even if you only lift the weights 1 time, even if you only walk 5 minutes, even if you only open up, in the old days, it would be called opening up the want ads. So even if you only go to LinkedIn for 5 seconds, you have to do something. Doesn't have to be big, but you have to do something big to get over that hurdle, right? And we talked about those 4 big blocks, the blocks of worthiness, of abandonment, of responsibility, fear of success. You're going to keep getting over those big blocks, those hurdles, every time you touch your dream. For the power of small, just do a little bit. And it doesn't have to be every day, but the beauty of touching it every day is that you don't have any catch-up time. Sometime if you have a couple of days in between looking for that job or building that business, it's like, where was I then? And then you have to spend a lot of time catching up. By doing just a gentle touch every day, you know where you were. There's less resistance, less friction. You just, I did this yesterday, I'm going to do this today. And the game is you have to do a touch no matter what. It's 11 o'clock at night. It's like, oh, darn it. I made the commitment that I was going to do such and such, even if it's 1 minute you keep the commitment. And boy, is this a confidence builder. You are learning self-trust. In other words, you think it's about the outer results. It's about this thing, this book you want to write, this business you want to build. But once again, it's that inner work. And I love the power of small for building up your self-trust and your confidence. Now, for some people, you may really benefit by having an outside accountability partner. Some people are good with inner direction, like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have a list, I'm going to check it off. But you might really benefit by having an accountability partner or being part of a group or having a coach to help you stay the path. Because there is such incredible growth, personal growth, and life growth by being able to stay the path. So try this technique out while we're experimenting with this as we're raising our vibe during this Atomic Mindfulness event. Just touching it every day. Every time you do it, you feel so good afterwards. You kept your promise. It doesn't even matter how far you walked or what you did. Every time you touch it, oh my gosh, you just feel great. You got over a hurdle, you did it, your confidence soars. Try the daily touch and the power of small.